Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching this. Kaylin's about to go to talk to you about something real quick. So it is 12:53 for us right now. This is not a normal video that I do, but I really want to tell you about something that happened to me last night. Ooh. Sorry, didn't mean to show that. So something happened to me last night. It was pretty scary. I feel like I'm a survivor. But I really want to warn you guys about creepy people that are out there these days. Just really creepy things. People are crazy, okay? And with the pandemic and everything, it's really crazy. But you need to be really careful, especially if you go out at night. You need to be super duper careful and be really aware of your surroundings and just be observational. Because last night I went to the gas station to get myself a chocolate bar, because I still have pregnancy cravings. And sometimes I just can't get around them. I just need it for reasons because I can't get around it. So I just want to tell you guys what happened to me yesterday or last night. That way it doesn't happen to you. If you have a craving, please try to get around it, especially if it's late at night. It was 10 o'clock for me. I wanted a chocolate, so I went and got some chocolate, and I got my husband, I have, and then Trent some Monster. He doesn't usually drink Monster. He usually drinks these, which are a lot healthier. By the way, this is not, they're not supporting me, but, it's no sugar, caffeine plus. It's really good, and it does definitely give you a boost of energy. I use it for my second wind when Trent gets home and I have to do a bunch of stuff with Carolyn and get her to bed. But that's my second wind for the day. But and my pep for the morning. Half of it in the morning, half of it at night. Anyways, so yeah. So last night I went to the gas station and a guy was there and said, "Hey, how you doing?" I said, "Good, how are you?" And he's like, "Good, now that you're here." And I'm like, okay. I was like, "Oh, haha." And then when I was going up to the cash register, he stopped me in my tracks. He goes, "Those monsters are good, huh?" And I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm getting it for my husband." And he's like, "Oh, good, because they're bad for you. We want anything to happen to you." And I was like, "Oh, haha." And then I was like, I went and I watched him walk out to his car, and he was sitting in his car, like, waiting for me. At this point, I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'm dying tonight. I'm dying tonight. Like, I'm gonna get kidnapped. He's gonna kill me. Like I was just like, oh God, I was like praying. I was like, please don't let this be happening. I was like, in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I am in like a Law and Order type of freaking Criminal Minds type of a show right now. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not happening. I'm in a horror movie. Oh my gosh. And I'm just freaking out because I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm dying tonight. My life is over. Is what I was thinking. I'm gonna keep it over here because my bra keeps showing him. So, anyways, um, so I was like, oh my gosh. And so I went, I paid, and then I went outside, and I have 4 keys on my key ring, and so I put one key between my fingers like this. I learned that when I worked at JCPenney's, there was a girl that had gotten mugged, and she got drugged to the curb, and so, and someone tried to grab her too. She accidentally had, thankfully, she accidentally brought the taser outside, and it was in her pocket on accident because she was a security guard at the mall, and she went and she got mugged. They took all of her stuff, but she thankfully had a taser in her pocket still because she forgot that it was in her pocket, and she whipped it out and tased them. She didn't get her stuff back, but she got one of the guys because there was a bunch of guys in a car, in an black SUV, and so a bunch of people jumped out, grabbed what they could on her, and then jumped back in the car and drove away. She got one of them because they left him there, and she tased him. Thankfully, she got her wallet back, but her car keys were gone. I mean, they took everything. They took her car keys. They took her badge. They took whatever they could, I guess. But she came back and told us about it, and she's like, girls, you guys need to walk out together. And one of my friends texted her mom. Her mom's like, put every key you have on your key ring in between your fingers, just in case. So, and I don't know where her mom learned that from, but she taught me that. She's like, put every key you have in between your fingers. Make sure you have at least 4 to 5 keys on your key ring at all times. And I do. I have 4 to 5 keys on, even if they are not into anything. I put them on my key ring just in case. So I put them all between my fingers, and I had my phone in one hand, and I had my grocery bag, or the bag that the cashier gave me with my stuff in it, and then I had my keys in my fingers on my other hand, and I went out there, and I was ready, and I acted like I was on the phone with Trent, and I was like, yeah, baby, I'll be home in a second. I'm just leaving it. It's like 7-Eleven right now. And the guy rolled down his window, and he's like, you have a good night. And I was like, thanks, you too. And then he started driving out of the parking lot. So I drove out. I got into my car, locked the doors, drove out of the parking lot as well. There's a side street right by 7-Eleven that I go down. I have to go down there to get to my apartment complex. And we were going the same way. So he had pulled over, and I thought he was at his house or whatever. And I was like, okay. And then I went around him, and then I just looked back in my review mirror, just because, you know how you just glance. And I saw him turn on his turn signal and started following me. And at first I was like, oh, maybe he just got scared. He thought I was following him. Maybe he just got scared, like, whatever. Which I don't know why he would be scared of me. I should be scared of him, which I was. But I was like, oh, maybe he's just, maybe he just got a little worried. And then I started driving, whatever. I was driving it takes like 20 minutes to get back to my house. And I was driving for like 10 of them, and he was still following me, and I'm like, this is weird. And so I called Trent, and I'm like, hey, I think I'm gonna try to lose this guy. He's like, what happened? I was like, I'll tell you later. I'm gonna try to lose this guy. He's like, no, don't try to lose anybody. Come home. I'll come out and get you if I need to. Whatever's going on. I was like, okay. And so I said, so I go home to the apartment complex. I turn in the apartment complex. He turns in behind me. I'm like, so I parked stupidly. I stupidly parked, and I called Trent, and I'm like, hey, can you come out and get me? He's like, give me a second. What's going on? And I said, I just got hit on at the gas station, and this guy followed me home. Come get me. And he's like, did he come in the apartment complex? I'm like, yeah, he's somewhere in here. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to drive around real quick, see if I see him, and come home. And I should be back by the time you get out here. He's like, okay. So I go around the apartment complex. I don't see any cars on. I don't see anything. And then I get to my corner. And we live like maybe 8 car lengths away from the corner of my apartment complex. So, wait, sorry, 8 carports. I don't want to say cars because, things are, sometimes people are spread out, sometimes people are close together. So, 8 carports. And if you've ever seen the carports, oh, why is it red right there? Ow. Okay, that must be a blemish. That is starting. Ow, that hurts. Okay. Anyways, sorry about that. But it feels like a zit. Ow. Anyways, so yeah, so 8 carports. Have you ever seen carports at a apartment complex? That's what I'm talking about. Carport. So 8 carports away from my carport spot. And anyways, I saw a car on the corner of that in a carport. The car was on. It looked like his car, and so I parked and I looked because there were no cars to those carports. So I looked to my side and I could see, and it was him. That was Shiva. She just growled for some reason. She was just sitting there. Anyways, so I saw him, and I was like, so I'm just jamming out my car and waiting for Trent to come get me. Finally, he came, and I was like, is that guy right there? And he's like, what? I was like, the guy right there that's on the corner. He's like, what about him? I'm like, that's the guy. And he's like, you want me to go say something? I'm like, no, I don't. I was like, don't do that. And he's like, are you sure? I was like, yes, let's just go inside. I'm scared. And he's like, all right. So I went inside, and we kind of forgot about it, but like, I could have gotten killed that night if Trent hadn't been home, or like, because sometimes Trent, now I don't know about here in Utah, but when we lived in Ohio, he used to have to go in to work at like 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. Like, they would call him, they'd be like, hey, we can't get this line up, you need to come in. And so he would have to go in at like 3 o'clock in the morning sometimes. And so I'd be home alone, and I was just like, thank gosh Trent was able to get me and come out and get me. Thank gosh he was home. Thank gosh he was taking this situation seriously and not being like, oh my gosh, Regina, stop being stupid, come on in. He was taking it seriously. He was like, oh, this is serious. My wife is scared. I'm going to go get her. So, I'm glad that he took that situation seriously. He knew I was scared and knew that, I wasn't, I wasn't antagonizing the guy. I wasn't leading a guy on. I just was like being friendly because, I don't know, sometimes people get mad when you're not friendly and then they will kidnap you and kill you. So it's just be very careful and aware of your surroundings. Don't go out at nighttime. I wouldn't go out past 10 o'clock. If it's 10 o'clock, don't go out. Get Grubhub to get you a candy bar, or Uber Eats, or order pizza or something. Don't. And Pizza Hut closes. They do their last delivery at 11. Just a heads up. I used to work at Pizza Hut. That's how I know that. So if you order before 11 o'clock, they do their last order. They do their last run of orders at 11. So just a heads up. So yeah, I would not go anywhere at night. So please listen, learn from my mistakes, because that was probably the biggest mistake I did. Yes, I do like that I went and got chocolate because I was craving it, but it's not worth your life. So please be aware of your surroundings and just keep an eye out for these creepers, because they're everywhere. They're not just in Utah. Creepers are everywhere. You just want to be really careful. I mean, I've gotten hit on at places before. No one's ever waited in their car for me before like that. So that was really creepy. But just, I mean, just be really aware of your surroundings. There's creepers out there. They're sex trafficking is a really big thing right now, and I know in Ohio it's a really bad. It's very, very bad in Ohio right now. I know. Sex trafficking is real. It's everywhere. It's just, it's gross. It's gross. It sucks, and I hope there will be a stop to it soon. Um, you gotta be really careful, you guys. Okay, please be really careful. I don't want anything to happen to any of you. I really want you all to be really, really safe, because the world right now in this pandemic is ridiculously crazy and so, so dangerous. More dangerous than ever. Besides the plague, that was a lot more dangerous. But please be careful.